Tony D and Little Joan somewhere in the background, and this is your screenwriter's rant on three movies that I think embody the decline of failing Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. So first up is Mona 2. Is that how you say that? Moana 2. Wolves with George Clooney and Brad Pitt, and Kinds of Kindness. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you. Excuse me, for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 14. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So Moana 2, the sequel to the cartoon starring Dwayne Johnson from Disney, embodies today's kids movie. I think it's made by Disney, of course. It's unbelievably saccharine. It seems to star a girl boss doing all the things, and involves this sort of message of like, well, we've got to find our people and be together, and it's a kids movie, so I'm sure it's got a thing here about environmentalism. I'm sure that's in here, and it's all about the indigenous people of the Polynesian diaspora. It's not serious, but it's gonna be sort of sappy. I mean, look at this. Here he's saying, bacon and eggs. It's wacky, but kind of dopey, and kind of, to me, devoid of any kind of real edge, intelligence. It's just a plug and play kind of Disney trope at this point, sprinkled in with a bunch of, in this case, indigenous people. The plot, I don't know, first act, we're back on Moana's world. Everything's great and happy, but she discovers there's another island full of people she wants to visit, so she decides she's going to get a boat and go visit them. So she does. Along the way, her wacky sidekick returns, and they get to the island and they meet a bunch of new people, and they all become friends, I guess. So that's it. I don't know. I didn't see the first one, so it's a little tough to parse, but I kind of don't care. Oh, here's the synopsis. Walt Disney Animation Studios' epic animated musical. Oh, all right. So I'm really out. Takes audience on an expansive new voyage with Moana, Maui, and a brand new crew of unlikely seafarers. After receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, Moana must journey to the seas of Oceania into a dangerous, long lost waters of adventure, unlike anything she's ever faced. I guess. I don't know. It just looks like another Disney thing. And since it's Disney, right? Yeah, I think it's Disney. Yeah, Walt Disney Animation. And I just feel like there's been too much of this. And it's too much of the same. And it's a sequel. And it's a musical. It's like they keep trying to recapture a bygone era without trying anything new. There's nothing new here, except maybe, I guess you could argue, the ideology is sort of sprinkled in. They would have made this back in the 40s. It just would have, the songs probably would have been better, and the plot would have made more sense. So, I just find it yet another empty experience from Hollywood. And it's sad because this one's for kids. So the only people, I think, that will really be like, ooh, let's go see this in theaters will be kids. And if you're a parent and you could drag your feet a few months or weeks on this, It'll be on streaming or whatever, and you could just watch it then, and the kids could watch it endlessly. Who cares? It's just mindless. Number 2 is Wolves. Not Wolves. Wolves. George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Now, they play two, I guess they're supposed to be hitmen, cleaning up after, I guess, a murder. Not sure what happens in this. But this woman calls. And I think the guy died, but then he wakes up and he's got tons of drugs and there's some sort of mystery unfolding. But almost none of that matters, because what this movie's really for is for Brad Pitt and George Clooney to play off of each other. Which, 20 years ago, this would have been a big deal. 20, I guess. Yeah, 20. Now, there's just so nothing to this, in my view, because celebrities have completely burned up whatever credibility they had left. George Clooney has gotten super political. I now can't see him without seeing those politics. He's gone too far into it. You know, now when I see him, I think about all the statements he's made as a very serious guy in politics. Now he wants to play some light comedy thriller movie guy, and I kind of can't see him that way. I just see him as a rich a-hole. And the movie is not really a character. It's him. It's him. The whole movie hinges on him and Brad Pitt. Now, Brad Pitt, for his defense, I mean, I like him as an actor still. He hasn't gotten political, as far as I know. Not really. Or at least so little I haven't even noticed. But he's going through a really nasty divorce with his wife and fighting over a $500 million winery. Which kind of doesn't help it either to make him a normal guy. Because again, it's kind of him. But kudos to him for being the more supportive in the trailer. Good actors are good support. And Brad Pitt knows how to do that. I've seen him do it in tons of movies. It makes him a really good actor, I think. But in this, you know, I just can't bring myself to even care a little bit. This should be a fun movie with two famous guys that I want to see bantering back and forth with Frank Sinatra music playing in the background and them doing all these dangerous things, but I can't get past them. I can't get past all the nonsense that's going on outside of the movie. It takes me out of it just seeing Clooney in it. So they've ruined. I don't think Brad has really specifically. I think, you know, once his divorce dies down, he could just go back to being in movies. But Clooney, I can't get past him anymore. I loved him in From Dusk Till Dawn. Love that movie. And now I can't see him in anything. He just comes off as rich, entitled George Clooney. So here's the other type of movie, the big celebrity-driven summer box office. This should be a big movie. I don't think it will be. First act, they both get called, or Clooney gets called to clean up a body. I think it's Anne. Is that Anne Heche in the movie? I'm not sure. Or is it the woman who just looks like her? Anyhow, he shows up, and then Brad Pitt shows up a few minutes later as he's cleaning up the body, and it turns out the organization has accidentally sent both of them at the same time, and they become a reluctant team up. They discover the dead guy's not dead. He's got some drugs, and the mystery deepens. You know, after that, they end up fighting the mob together and solving the mystery. It sounds like something totally in my wheelhouse. Normally, I would totally see this. I would rather see it with two unknowns. I'd rather see it with two younger, unknown actors with a lot of spirit and a lot of energy instead of two very rich celebrities. Now, again, to Pitt's credit, he's being really good in this in terms of acting. He's supporting Clooney. He's letting Clooney have moments. But, you know, because Clooney's in it, nah, I can't get behind it. Here's the write-up. Clooney and... Oh, they've got this... What is this in Spanish? Clooney interpreta un facilitador professional correndada para un combra un crimen de alto nivel. Who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, who cares? I think this... And why do they call it wolves? Why don't they call it wolves? Why are they purposely butchering... I gotta find it in English. God, that annoys me. Hold on. How did I manage to do that? All right, here we go. There we go, wolves. Let's have the right up here. Oh, come on. Directed by John Watts. Synopsis: two lone wolf fixers are tasked with working together on their next job. Well, thanks for that. That was a lot of trouble for nothing. By the way, they also are now releasing teaser trailers for the trailer, so look forward to that. Teaser trailers for the trailer. Oh, the trailer comes out tomorrow. I'm not excited about the trailer. I'm supposed to be excited about the movie. Anyhow, finally, the third movie is Kinds of Kindness. It's got a lot of play at Cannes. Stars Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, from the guy who directed Poor Things, William Dafoe, and as near as I could tell, the trailer almost gives you nothing. But I've already read some stuff about it. Apparently, it involves cannibalism, sexual fetishes. There are scenes in which I saw a clip in which Emma Stone is like, okay, let's all four of us go upstairs and, F. And I'm just like, what is this movie? There doesn't seem to be a central plot, at least in the trailer, that I could discern. Here, Plemons is telling this woman a story about Emma Stone, I think, and how she wanted him to F her in a uniform and he didn't want to do it. Like, I don't get what this movie is. Hunter Schafer's also in it, the trans actor. There's this scene with dogs. Is it? I don't know what it's supposed to be. I honestly don't know. I can't even give you the 3-act breakdown. I don't know. I'm just going to assume it's a bunch of pretentious artistic nonsense that only super piped in Hollywood types would even consider a movie. And I'm an art house guy. I like to go see art house movies. I have zero interest in this movie. It just feels, I don't know, kind of dirty and subversive for no reason other than to try to piss off as many people as possible, maybe. That's kind of the vibe I get. I mean, I didn't like the vibe on Poor Things. And, like Emma Stone's kind of a smoke show. I'd like to see her in some fun things where she's in cute outfits. She's in cute outfits in this, but the movie looks dark and mildly disturbing. Like, who's this movie for? Art house snobs is the only people I can think of. Is there a write-up? Yeah. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons. Yeah, so it's just a list of people. June 28th. So I'm sure this will be Oscar bait. And they're already calling it awesome and intoxicating and wonderful. And, this feels like the kind of movie people at Cannes would normally vote for. So this is the extremes of Hollywood. It's either a sort of a saccharine kids movie, a celebrity driven thing that only the celebrity, cult of personality can really make happen, or something that's kind of incomprehensible, but they're going to push on you because they've decided it's art, instead of just putting it out there to see if anybody even likes it and sees it for what it is. And that's really, at the end of the day, the problem. All these movies, I think, are pushed for one reason or another, rather than put out on the shelf as a product to say, will you buy this? Will you see this? There's marketing, and then there's, too much marketing, I guess. It's great to know what's coming out and to see trailers and whatnot, but the amount of press, though, on some of these films is too much. I see too much. There have been movies where I saw the trailer so many times, I started wanting to see the movie, and then I crossed over to, I'm not seeing this movie. Because I had seen the trailer so many times, I began to resent it being pushed onto me. Now, I don't think I resent any of these movies. I just can't motivate myself to see these. Part of it is what I've talked about in other videos about how terrible the movie experience in general has become at theaters. It's just awful. That is certainly a huge hurdle now. But the other biggest hurdle is just, where are the movies that I want? Where are the movies that people genuinely want to see? I don't think any of these movies are that. We genuinely want to see certain things in movies. And for years, Hollywood just seems to be determined to deny us and tell us what we want. These are 3 movies I don't think anybody wants right now. Now, Wolf's, maybe it, again, if you had recast it, if George Clooney hadn't sort of blown up his celebrities and burned it out in politics, maybe that could have been a fun movie. Moana, maybe if it was very silly and fun and had some good songs with talented people, and instead of Dwayne Johnson doing a voice, I think, it could be fun. Maybe this movie, if it really made a statement, Kinds of Kindness, instead of seemingly, from what I've read about it, sort of wallowing in, it sounds like depravity, maybe. But there's so much going on in the world. All these movies seem completely disconnected from the world I live in terms of not just the actual plot, but the tone and tenor of what's going on around us. It's like, Rome is burning, and the Romans are sitting around doing plays about how great Rome is. Right? It's like America's going through all these things, and the movies aren't reflecting what's happening anymore. Back in the 70s, when that was a very progressive era. But it was a great time for film. And what they were showing on the screen were things that were happening in real life. And for the first time, you were seeing people on screen doing drugs. You were seeing the corruption in police departments and all these different things in a way that hadn't been presented before. And the presentation, too, was the little guy fights against authority, the big guy, the powers that be. None of these movies do that. None of these movies are fighting against the powers that be anymore. They're all so crammed with messaging, they've forgotten their audience. And the audience is always the little guy who would love to stand up to the big authority. always. And that was the one thing 70s cinema seemed to capture in a big way. Now it's just, I don't know, I guess a bunch of rich people doing these little vignettes and hoping you'll watch and then getting pissed off when you don't. It's literally like watching French noblemen before the revolution in France. If they had all had video cameras and film cameras and were capable of this technology, I have no doubt they would have made these sorts of spectacles that the peasants could watch, but probably wouldn't. And that's what it feels like to me. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D. Little Jones somewhere in the house. Yeah, don't be black-pilled about it. The upshot is all the independent stuff is getting better. I think that's where all the talent's going. So, next up, I'm going to look at some kind of indie movie. Hopefully, find a trailer for it. Check me out on Saturday. I'll be at the second annual Cryptids and Paranormal Convention. That's in Parlin, New Jersey. And then on Sunday, I'll be at the Philadelphia Comic Con in Essington, PA at the Clarion. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.